This meeting is being recorded. Well, Susan, thank you so much. So we're going to start the meeting. Today, we shall be talking about the Actuate Academy. And of course, you already know that we talked about Actuate Academy in a previous session. What is all about? The Actuate Academy is what brings us all together. And as we said in the previous discussions, Actuate Academy is the place where the knowledge about blockchain will be disseminated to the community. We have said that if blockchain, first of all, is a very, very powerful technology, and we want to make sure that every person in this world has got the opportunity to learn about the blockchain itself, how to use it, because as you see, it creates what's called economic justice, equity, equitable access. And if you have equitable access, we have health access. And that can only happen when people are knowledgeable. So today we are going to look at how the Actuate Academy will help us do all that. We have developed a course structure, which has got about 4 courses. And Susan Jumana is going to show us a brief video on the course structure, beginning with the very, very basics of the blockchain. And so to know the basics, so the fundamentals of blockchain, cryptographic principles, learning how private keys work and how public keys work and what they are and what to do with them. And then the real world applications of the blockchain, particularly in healthcare and medicine, what's called translation science. And then that is basic level. Everybody, let's say everyone in this world needs to understand the basics of the blockchain, like how it works, particularly in Africa, because it creates equity or equal access, equal representational value, equitable representational value. And so the second level of courses, which are known intermediate courses, would be about design of the smart contracts. Yeah, how do you design smart contracts? And then we shall go into every detail of how you design a smart contract and now how you deploy it to make it meaningful. And then the third set of that third course is the advanced blockchain. Now, advanced blockchain is for people who want to go in very deep into the blockchain design and understand how it works and create products to build. It's people. So, for example, when you're talking about lawyers, how do you build a legal system on the blockchain itself? And that is for advanced courses. And we call that advanced blockchain 1. And then we have advanced blockchain 2, which comprises tokenization of real world assets. Is that Dr. Mbale? All right, you're here.
Hello.
Hey, okay. So, yeah, please take a seat. And please help me hook up this machine here because drag it onto the wall. Yeah. So the meeting has begun. And Susan, we have here Dr. Mbale and his brother. Very simple. Dr. Mbale and Dr. Mbale, they are two Mbales already here. And as I explained to you, Dr. Mbale is neurosurgeon. He's visiting us from South Africa, where he practices neurosurgery. And Dr. Mbale was my classmate way back when we were only teenagers. Now we're experiencing our teenage years all over again. All right. So, Susan, thank you so much, everyone else. Dr. Mbale, in this meeting, we have Jose Rodriguez, who is our sales manager, and he's on Zoom meeting. And also we have Jonathan, who is also working with us as an ambassador for our program. And we have Susan Juguna. So Susan, you already know who is Susan. She's in Nairobi. Is it plugged? That is good. Please take a seat then. And so, yeah, let us get started. So Susan, please play the video about Actuate Academy. Susan Joguna has started screen sharing. Click to enter full screen mode. You are viewing Susan Joguna's screen. Oh, I need to turn off my.
Speech on demand.
I need to remove my speech. So, Dr. Mbale, today we are talking about Actuate Academy.
The gospel of the network. Why every professional must learn blockchain. Now, in every great epic, there emerges a defining technology, a revelation that rewrites the code of civilization. In the 19th century, it was the steam engine. In the 20th, the transistor. And in the 21st century, it is the blockchain. Not a passing trend, not a fleeting innovation. Blockchain is the new architecture of truth, a cryptographic cornerstone of a civilization yearning for integrity, transparency, and justice. If you are a professional, a leader, a builder of tomorrow's world, and not yet fluent in the language of decentralization, you're drifting toward obsolescence on a raft made of legacy assumptions. But there is good news. You do not have to be left behind. You can still become fluent in this emergent grammar of trust, the lingua franca of the future economy. An Actuate Academy is your school of prophets. Basic level. Introduction to Blockchain and Decentralized Finance, $250. 8 weeks to transcend digital ignorance. This course is not just an introduction. It is an awakening. Here you grasp what most only glimpse. You will touch the living pulse of the blockchain, discover the essence of decentralization, and finally understand why cryptographic truth is more trustworthy than institutional decree. In a world drowning in disinformation, blockchain offers verifiable proof. It is the antidote to opacity and manipulation. You will leave this course with hands-on fluency, wallets, smart contracts, decentralized tools, and the confidence to navigate a rapidly transforming landscape. A beginner? Perfect. No prior experience is necessary. Only curiosity and the courage to think differently. Enroll now. Your learning is your liberation. Intermediate level. Smart contracts for health and scientific knowledge systems. $550. 8 weeks to code justice into reality. In this course, you do not simply learn smart contracts. You craft instruments of moral consequence. Contracts that reward maternal health, incentivize ethical science, and bypass the bureaucracies that have long stifled innovation in healthcare and academia. Why does this matter? Because the old systems, insurance, publishing, global health governance, are broken. Blockchain offers not just repair, but reformation. A new economy of ethics embedded in code. If you're a health worker, a researcher, a policymaker, this course is your forge. Learn not just to code, but to code with conviction. Enroll now. Build systems that reward what matters most. Advanced Level 1 Blockchain Engineering and Web3 Innovation, $2,500. 10 weeks inside the cathedral of digital civilization. This is not a course. It is an initiation. You will master the arcane mechanics of consensus algorithms, cryptography, tokenomics, and cross-chain interoperability. You will emerge not as a student, but as an architect, equipped to build decentralized applications that power an internet free of feudal lords. The centralized web, with its titans and toll booths, is cracking under the weight of its own greed. The Web3 frontier needs engineers who can create new structures of sovereignty, new markets of mutual respect. This is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who would rather build the future than be victims of it. Enroll now. Create the platforms of a freer world. Advanced Level 2 Tokenization of biomedical, scientific, and healthcare real-world assets. $2,500. 10 weeks to transmute care into capital. Here, you learn to digitize the sacred. Hospitals, health records, research itself. Tokenization is not speculation. It is the miracle of visibility. A way to turn neglected infrastructure into investable assets. A path to make health equity measurable, auditable, scalable. In a world where science is buried behind paywalls and healthcare is rationed by corruption, blockchain offers a rebellion of precision and accountability. You will gain legal frameworks, asset structures, and the tools to unleash finance into the forgotten corners of global medicine. Enroll now. Bridge biology and blockchain. Why you must learn blockchain now. Every profession, from medicine to media, is being rewired by this underlying protocol of trust. Blockchain is not just for crypto startups. It is for the doctor in Nairobi designing smarter maternal systems. It is for the policy strategist in DC trying to reduce fraud. It is for the engineer in Lagos building applications that make prosperity programmable. To ignore this technology is to operate with yesterday's tools in tomorrow's world. To learn it is to shape that world. Actuate Academy does not merely certify you. It enlists you into a movement. A global vanguard of decentralized science, economic justice, and sovereign identity. This is more than education. It is revelation. It is reformation. It is your call to actuate, to move, to change, to rise. Visit us at www.actuate.bio. Contact us at info@actuate.bio. The future belongs to those who understand networks. Enroll now. Shape justice. Encode truth. Join the blockchain reformation.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Susan, for showing us this video. This video has explained to us the Actuate Academy, the structure itself, and then how to participate. Of course, these courses, it's about 4 courses. They have got different prices. The blockchain basics, which is about $250, and that's an 8 weeks project or program where people learn the fundamentals of cryptographic principles, the fundamentals of the blockchain itself, like where did it come from? This is the theory of the blockchain, and what does it do? And the principles of cryptography. Cryptography means secrets. Crypto is the word for secrecy, or something so private. So you learn about the public keys and the private keys, the importance of the private keys and the recovery phrases, and how to safeguard your recovery phrase, because the recovery phrase is your access to the blockchain itself. It's like the keys to the blockchain. If the recovery phrase is taken away by somebody else, he will have your access to the blockchain. And yet the recovery phrase is distributable to anybody with a cell phone in this world. Yeah. And that means, let's say that's private key. So everyone can have a private key. That's what equity is all about. And then in the beginner's course, you also learn real world applications, like in theory, the theoretical aspects of real world applications of blockchain, say like in healthcare, in real estate, in land titles, in identity, and in intellectual property, all that. But you don't know how to design anything. You just learn it in theory. So this course, the beginner's course, is fit for everyone. It's open to everyone, because I think everybody in this world needs to learn the basics of the blockchain, how to use it. When we talk about cryptographic principles, it's very, very easy. It's learning how to create a wallet. And I think everybody who is here already has a wallet. But we want to take this message outside. It's like learning how to use WhatsApp. If you've got a cell phone, you can use WhatsApp, or learning how to use Zoom. If you've got a cell phone, you can use Zoom. So it should not be complicated, but it needs a little, because it's about money. This money we're talking about is the value of the work that you produce every day. So it is sacred. That's why we're calling it a sacred duty to learn. So that everyone, and when we're talking about creating this movement, and now I'm very glad that Dr. Mbale is here, because he's going back to South Africa, and he's going to help us understand how we are going to spread the word in South Africa and other African countries, of course, is we need to educate everyone about how the blockchain works, the basics of it, the blockchain basics, the wallets, how to download a wallet. There are several wallets that we talk about and recommend, because they are very Of course, they are very safe and secure. Because one thing about wallets, and you want to know, is because the wallet itself is the gateway to the blockchain, you want to make sure that your wallet is safe. It cannot be hacked. And well, because there's a lot of people trying to hack wallets all the time. Well, because this world is made of good people and bad people. I don't know whether they are 50-50. I think they are 95 to 5. 5 good people for every 95 bad people. Yeah. So those people who are bad, they are always trying to steal things. They're trying to steal things that you own as a good person. And so you want to work with wallets that have demonstrated trustworthiness. Yeah. So one of the most trustworthy wallet is MetaMask. MetaMask was created by Consensus. This is a company in New York owned by Joe Lubin. Joe Lubin is a co-founder of Ethereum Network. He was working with Vitalik Buterin from the beginning. And so they have done very fantastic work. MetaMask, spelled as METAMASK. MetaMask appears in 2 formats. One of them is the they say a browser wallet is a web wallet, which is you use a MetaMask extension. And the other one is the mobile app that you install on your phone using Google Apps or maybe App Store for the iPhone. So MetaMask, very good. Then the other wallet that's good is the Trust wallet. Trust is also very good, very versatile. And there's quite a number of other wallets. These wallets are known as hot wallets. Why are they hot? Because they are online all the time. And even a wallet is online all the time, it is susceptible to hacking. It can get hacked anytime. That's why you want to make sure that you maintain its security by doing several things. When you create a wallet, you download a wallet, for example, you install Trust Wallet. The first thing it tells you is, do you want to create a wallet? Yeah. You want to create a wallet. When it asks you to create a wallet, when you say yes, you confirm you want to create a wallet, then it means right there and then, for the first time ever, it means for you something called the passphrases. These are 12 words, passphrase. So these passphrases are minted out right there and then. They don't exist anywhere else in this physical world. See? So that is new for you. Those 12 words point you to something called private key. That key is already private. Why wallets do this meeting? Why they mint the passphrase is because they don't want to show you your private key. Your private key is so private that even showing it to you might feel like a violation of privacy. There's no violation of privacy. You can always see your private key if you want. But a lot of people, when they see something like that, they can actually begin sharing it openly. So Trust Wallet and the wallet makers do not want you to share your private key inadvertently. Yeah, or put it somewhere that can actually be accessed by some nasty people. All right. So what do? They make sure that you only see your private key at your own request. All right. So when the wallet means for you, the passphrases, it asks you to write them down. And of course, it also gives you an option to save them on Google Drive, or maybe take a screenshot and save it electronically. The unfortunate thing is that your Google Drive can be hacked because it's in your Gmail, and of course it's in the internet. And if it's the internet, if somebody can hack into your email, Gmail, that person will get access to your passphrases or your private key. In fact, I think the direct save, unless you're very, very sure that you are never likely to be hacked, then you can actually say save on my drive. Yeah. But if you're not very certain, 100% certain that because the drive can be drive is shareable. It's why it can be accessed in so many different ways and different locations. If you're very certain that it will never be shared, you can actually save your information on the drive. Now, taking screenshots are dangerous. Why? Because what your phone does with screenshots, it puts those screenshots in a photo bucket. Boom. This photo bucket, initially it's maybe on your phone, but you may never know where else your phone is sending your photos. It might look quite private, but eventually you might find that your photos appear in Google Photos, and your Google Photos, and then when you're sharing your Google Photos, you might even inadvertently share your screenshots unwillingly. Yeah, just inadvertently, you end up sharing your private key, or even the internet is quite crazy that you could be sending photos to places like Instagram. You eventually you end up publishing your own private key on a public site like Instagram because of the way these companies the way they are doing that. They don't just put photos in one place, like where you think you're saving them in a safe location. They can actually distribute them inadvertently. And if you're very busy, you're doing things online, on social media, you end up sharing your own your own passphrases or screenshots in the on the web, and that is really dangerous. Meaning that people can actually gain access to your wallet. So that passphrase, you can only use it to recover your wallet. Like in case you lose your phone, or your device where you had originally created the wallet, and you get another phone, or you just buy a new phone, you can now use that first passphrase to call your wallet. What the wallet is, the wallet is not in your phone. It's actually on the blockchain, but on the phone itself, it's just a way for you to get to the blockchain. That's why they're called keys. So this private key, the passphrases themselves, when you get a new phone, you just enter your passphrases in, say, if you download a wallet, instead of creating a new wallet, then you say, I recover my wallet. And when you recover your wallet, it's going now to call back all the entire information you had in the previous wallet. Yeah, from the old phone. And so if you can do that yourself, then anybody else can do that. You can use that passphrase or recovery phrase to gain access to your wallet. And when somebody gains access to your wallet, all then they have to do is send your money out of your wallet, because the wallet allows you to do several things. It allows you to receive money or tokens, Bitcoins or actual token, send tokens, or it can allow you to swap or trade. So if I gain access to your wallet using the passphrases, I can send all the money you have in that wallet into a new wallet, a different one. That is like breaking into a bank and entering into the coffers in there and running away with that money in that bank and going and depositing it in another account. That's different. Now that means that your money is stolen. And this is what you want to understand, that the wallet, that public key, what gives you that power to hold, to be responsible for your own money, is a bank account. You would not want to give your account information to anyone out there. Neither would you give your bank password to anybody, except maybe the bank people. But here, we don't even have the bank people. It is the code itself that's managing this computer itself. So there is no one between you and your wallet. It's just you and the blockchain. There's no one between you and the blockchain itself. So I think that's a very important thing to understand. So then why do you need to have this wallet? Besides helping you send send tokens. First of all, receive token. You get paid for all kinds of things. Then it also helps you to send the money to anyone. But over and above that, you're now able to access the decentralized finance platforms such as Uniswap. Decentralized finance platform, like you gain access to the exchanges, these decentralized exchanges, decentralized finance platform. And such exchanges include Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and CLOP, Ubiswap, or even QuickSwap, and so many more. There are about 80 of them. 80. I can now, if you just did not know what that's what called the real power. The real power. Uniswap, which was made just around 2019, about 4 years ago. Uniswap. Uniswap is an exchange, just like the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is a National Association of Securities Dealers Index. There in New York, United States. It is similar to the New York Stock Exchange. Now, NASDAQ was created as the second iteration of exchanges. Why did NASDAQ become necessary? You know why they made NASDAQ way back in 1972? It's because New York Stock Exchange was not doing the real job of distributing equity or distributing ownership to people in companies. So you could say it was this thing of equitable distribution of value to the people, which became obvious that the New York Stock Exchange itself, which only listed a few companies, there are very few companies listed in New York Stock Exchange. A New York Stock Exchange has been in operation for more than 100 years. And even when New York Stock Exchange was operating for more than 100 years, there was only a handful of companies that could get traded there. And securities dealers, or the people who are buying and selling all the stock, they found that, my goodness, this thing is very exclusive. It's like a club of the rich or the richest in New York. And so nobody else can actually manage to list their companies there. And so they formed an association known as National Association of Securities Dealers, or the NASDAQ. National Association, and then that National Association of Securities Dealers Quotation Index decided to democratize the system of ownership of companies, that any companies can do an initial public offering and sell their offering through the public market through the NASDAQ. And you see, when that happened, that was 1970s. Companies such as Apple Computer, Microsoft came along, and they have taken they have now become leaders in over the last about 30 or 40 years or so. That was because of the NASDAQ. And even now, they are the most capitalized companies with the largest market capitalization. But you see, what NASDAQ did, it kind of democratized, opened up access to the equity market, but it did not open up the market to everybody else in the world. So people in Africa cannot be trading on NASDAQ. And so then they formed such, in the attempts to make such markets, capital markets in countries like Kenya. We have Nairobi Stock Exchange, maybe Tanzania Stock Exchange. They're just an illusion. It's an illusion of what the NASDAQ has done. They're not doing anything. So we have everybody else in the planet, everyone else who cannot gain access to capital markets like Apple Computers did in 1970s, or even Microsoft, or even in the 1990s, companies like Google, and the 2000s, companies like companies such as Facebook, or the Meta today. So what we are saying is the blockchain itself now gives us new markets for this almost same thing. Uniswap itself, which is on your phone, and Susan is going to show us how to get into Uniswap in a minute here using using Trust Wallet. Uniswap itself now opens up that whole market from just being available to investors in New York through the NASDAQ. It reaches everybody else in the world who has got a smartphone, including you. Now, that means you can trade just like you are an investment banker in NASDAQ, but you can trade now using your smartphone. And that's just how simple it is. And so how you do that, you gain access to that market. So what trading is, say for example, companies such as Microsoft creates shares of common stock, or say even Google creates shares of common stock. It issues those shares to be traded in the public market. When those shares are being traded, they are bought with other currencies or they exchange with other shares. And that's called liquidity. So creating a market for your shares, for your offering shares that you offer in the market. So the marketplace for people buying and selling all the shares, and they cannot sell unless they are liquid. Liquidity comes from the demand for those shares. People out there wanting to buy those shares or wanting to exchange them for something else of value. Either they exchange them for other shares. These are called other liquid things. Let's call them liquid things or liquid assets. So liquid assets could be shares, could be bonds, could be derivatives, could be all these kind of things. Yeah, they're known as liquid assets, and some people call them securities. They are exchanged for the shares of your company, and they create something called liquidity. Now Uniswap comes along and says all these people who are holding tokens such as Actuate token, Ethereum token, a Bitcoin token, they need a market to exchange their tokens. Yeah. And so a guy called Hayden Adams, right here in New York City, now he's an engineer, he says, let's create a mechanism for helping people to exchange their tokens. And he called it Uniswap, universal swapping. What makes a token liquid is just that swapping. Isn't that amazing? But before you swap, you have to make it possible to swap. That's what transmutates the token from a solid token into a liquid token. And so how this Uniswap works, and Susan, maybe she's going to give us a brief demo of it. But today was not to talk about the Uniswap, but just briefly how it works is that if you're holding Actuate tokens, yeah, then Uniswap allows you to tie the Actuate tokens with any other token, say like Ethereum token, or say Bitcoin, or say Uni token, or Sui token, any token. You can tie them together, and that means that token becomes liquid. That work of tying two tokens together is known as providing liquidity or market making. Now, the idea of market making, like how, say, for example, if you're talking about Google shares themselves, how do Google shares get traded? How do they get liquid? Somebody guarantees that I am going to make market. I am going to make market for Google shares. Yeah. To make market means that is a guarantee that if somebody wants to buy those want to buy those shares, first of all, I will provide the money. It's a guarantee. So the banks, it's the investment bankers, and all these banks you find here in the Boston, every day in the morning when they wake up, say, how much money are we spending today making market for these shares? How much money are we spending? That has been the work of people called investment bankers. So market making, when NASDAQ came along, you can see investment banking industry was invented and has grown, become prolific. That because there's people with very deep pockets who are studying and waiting for shares to be announced and say, I am going to be making market for this, for these shares. And so market making, the person who is making market says, I guarantee that if you're going to buy this share for $1, I will guarantee you that you're going to get it for $1. And that person buys that share for something like 40 cents. The market maker usually buys it at a cheaper price. And then escrow has not bought it, it's just guaranteeing, it's just saying, saying a statement. See, I have so much money. If people don't buy, I will buy all of them, but at 40 cents. See, because he has guaranteed to buy the shares at 40 cents, but the shares then when they're presented out there in the market, they're selling at $1. Because of his guarantee, he's actually paid back the difference. Whatever he had guaranteed, the difference, he earns that money. And that's why investment bankers cannot stop growing rich all the time, every day, because they are market makers. They guarantee that they are going to make market for your product. Now, Hidden Adam said, oh my goodness, how do we democratize this thing? Because not everybody has got deep pockets to come here and guarantee the market. But these billions of people. If you get so many people at once together, even say like 1,000, 2,000 people, they put a little money together, that money can guarantee the market to become market makers. And so what Heed and Adam did in Uniswap is to create something called automatic market makers, automatic market making technology. So what that means, AMM, automatic market making, means just the very basics of it, like a bare bone, is take Actuate token and then tie it with Ethereum token, and then you provide it into a pool which is called liquidity pool. So that action of providing liquidity is market making. Yeah, it's market making. Now, when you have now tokens, different tokens and different people contributing tokens to the pool, then those tokens are going to be doing the automatic, they're going to enter into that machine, or it's the machine decentralized exchange, which is going to be guaranteeing that the token is liquid. And in that, if you provide your tokens, it's like donating your tokens. You're not donating them. You see, those tokens still belong to you. That's what's amazing, that when you put your tokens in the liquidity pool, you connect your wallet, and then Uniswap gains access to the tokens in the wallet and takes those, seems to take, let me just say, seems to take or appears to take the tokens in your wallet. There are two tokens that you have in your wallet. You have Ethereum tokens and you have Actuate tokens. It seems to take them together and creates one new token known as a Uni token or an LP token. It's a liquidity pool token. It actually means it right there. That new token has got equivalent value to the two tokens that you put in together in the liquidity pool. And all that does, what does that does is to make the tokens tradable or exchangeable. They have now value. Just like if Kenya shilling was going to be sold to US dollar, it has value because it's being exchanged. So it creates this whole thing which is quite similar to the foreign exchange market. Now, you as a contributor to the pool, you can decide for every transaction that goes through, just like an investment banker, so because you have become the investment banker. So what does, so when you provide you provide money in the market, your tokens to the market, you say for every transaction that goes on between, say, Actuate and Ethereum, I want to earn so much percentage, 0%, 0.5%. I want to earn 0.01%, 0.1. Every transaction, not every 100 transaction, every transaction. And this is how people are making so much money on the blockchain. So the people who are providing the greatest amount of liquidity, your liquidity share, they're making so much money because they have allowed their tokens to be available for making market, just like investment bankers. So you become like our original Bostonian with deep pockets. See? You become like somebody coming from State Street down here because these guys in streets are all they do is make market for the guys in Nasdaq in New York, and of course in London Stock Exchange. But you don't have to be in Boston State Street to do that. You can do that from anywhere you are using your phone, market making. See? And that is a science of money, like how money is created, just coming out. And we have the technologies already to do all those things. Can you imagine? And so if everybody can contribute the value and make market, create liquidity pools, then we are going to activate such level of wealth like you have never seen in this world. And why do we need this wealth? The wealth is already there. You could say the wealth that blockchain is able to capture, besides now talking about markets like Nasdaq or London Stock Exchange, the wealth itself is the imaginations of people, what a human can imagine and create. That means the value of things that you spend time doing. Mhm. As we have said before, that there are certain things of value, like getting pregnant, carrying pregnancy to term, going to labor, delivering a baby, motherhood, taking a family. Such things have never been captured in the market, the traditional finance system. And if we have tokens that are actually able to capture that value, then that value can be put in the market for market making. Exactly what you say. You can imagine that value. How many trillions of dollars is that? And then there's other value that we actually never talk about, the value of knowledge, of innovation. Knowledge itself, the things that we have today, are not new. As Koheredu, remember Koheredu, the Bible, Ecclesiastes, he said there's nothing new under the sun. Under the sun. There are always things new above the sun, which is in spirit. New things come from spirit, or what you call imagination. Okay? How does the spirit connect with things under the sun to create new things? Which is what we call innovation. Innovation is application of knowledge to already existing material resources. For example, all the things that have been used to make this iPhone were already always present. They were here forever and ever and ever. So there's nothing new that Steve Jobs went to import from somewhere else to come and make an iPhone. The only thing that Steve Jobs did to create an iPhone is to do what? Open up his imagination, gain access to his spiritual self. And then he has to ask that very deep question. What do we need a cell phone for? Is it just for talking? No, it's also for sending messages, it's for watching videos. I said, oh my goodness, now how can we build all that in one device? See, that's the question. Now that question comes from somewhere else. It doesn't come from physical earth. It comes from somewhere else called imagination. Imagination of man. That imagination is the place that hosts all the value in this planet. And imagination is not only for certain people living in certain places. Everybody in this world, every human being is capable of imagination. Because there's no one, not a single one of us is born without this ability to imagine new things. And what we are saying is that what's called poverty today is denial of imagination of certain people. If you have people who are considered to be poor, it means that whatever they're imagining is not encoded and cannot appear in the finance market. Now it becomes very difficult. So even NASDAQ itself is not able to capture the value of imagination of the many in this world. Many in this world were called the billions or the third world, the billions living in the third world. Even here in the United States, NASDAQ is only able to capture the imagination of very, very few people because it is highly centralized. In order for us to capture imagination of literally everyone in this world, We need a decentralized platform, decentralized capture of imagination, of the value of imagination. That imagination is what now transmutates the physical reality into new innovations, innovations in medicine, innovation in biotechnology, innovations in computer science, innovation creating devices such as iPhones. And that is the real deal. And that is what now Hayden Adams has managed to put together, that's now capturing that value, is putting it in form of liquidity. That how can you use market, how can you make market for imagination? How can you make market for imagination? Just that alone. And imagine all the people in this world, people going to colleges, universities in Africa, hundreds of thousands of people, young people who are very imaginative, very creative. The word is creative. Creative means that they can create. All those creatives, their work will never see the light of day unless it is, unless we make market for it. That's what I say, unless even we use it for making market. And what you're saying is that the token like Actuate token, Ethereum token, both of them will now put together the activate or the actuate, the actual access, that whole thing of getting imagination to apply it to material products is a process of activation. Yeah, so that is what I would like to say about those things. And I think maybe there are questions about how we do this. And this is why we have to spread this gospel almost to every single individual, teach everyone that they actually have value that can be used to make market. Now, making market has been made automatic. So market is now automatic using the automatic market making system, which is so like Uniswap. But Uniswap, by the way, just told you, it's just one of them. There are about 80 of those automatic market makers, including Uniswap, which is owned by Silo Foundation. Silo Foundation is in California. I know the guys at Silo, they have a Silo Day of Africa, which is doing a great job. We know the guys at Silo. For those of you who are here when you were talking with Jordan Modemba in Kenya, in Nairobi there, who was telling us Nairobi is an ocean of talent in blockchain. So Jordan is in Silo Foundation and he's the head of Silo Foundation Africa. And then, of course, Jordan, I know him because we worked with him, Susan, several years in the Ubica project. And then we have QuickSwap. QuickSwap is owned by Polygon. Polygon is a layer 2 on Ethereum network. Layer 2, we'll talk about that. So Polygon is in India, moved by India. And those guys are, they're super serious. I can tell you, the guys at Polygon are very, very serious guys. No jokes, okay? So I know them because we're here in Boston and also in California. Then when we went to India to set up a Polygon. And Polygon has done a lot of work and it owns QuickSwap. And then we have PancakeSwap. Pancakes like the pancake that you get in the pancake factory. Yeah, it's all about food. So PancakeSwap is from China, is owned by Binance, or works very well with the Binance network. So PancakeSwap is another. So you can see PancakeSwap looking at the Chinese market, which is a very, very huge market. There's more than 1 billion people in China. And then we have SushiSwap. You know about sushi is Korean food, South Korea. So SushiSwap also made for the Korean market. Of course, it's the Korean market. Korean is global. So this is what is fascinating about this. When you're on Uniswap, you can also trade in SushiSwap, and you can also trade in PancakeSwap. You can also trade in QuickSwap. So it's unlike anything that was there before, because when you're in NASDAQ, you could not trade in London Stock Exchange, except if you're an investment banker. You could not even forget about it. Nairobi Stock Exchange or Kampala Stock Exchange. This will never happen. Or even say Chinese Stock Exchange. You would be in NASDAQ. So these things are very secluded. But when you talk about now these blockchain projects, Uniswap, SushiSwap, SushiSwap, QuickSwap, it's all one plain market. And now working with MetaMask, for example, MetaMask has got layer 0 that allows you to trade your tokens in all those exchanges at once. So when your token is on, say, like on one market, you have connected your tokens, your wallet to, say, Uniswap, and you want to gain access to PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap is the Chinese token. The tokens could be having different prices between Uniswap and PancakeSwap. What do you call that phenomena when things are, you find the same thing having different prices in different markets? Arbitrage. Arbitrage is when, say, for example, you have mangoes in, say, Boston market. He called Haymarket down here. And then you have mangoes in New York City, in market. So the mangoes in Boston are costing 50 cents. In New York City, they're costing 80 cents. It means that you can buy the Boston mangoes and ship them there to New York and make 30 cents. If you have if the transport cost is 0, isn't it? It's the same thing. What's fascinating, it's the same thing with these decentralized exchanges. That you can have tokens at one price, say at 80 cents in Uniswap, but they are $1 in PancakeSwap. But now you don't need transportation. You don't need to hire a big cargo ship to take them to New York to PancakeSwap. It is just on your phone. So this arbitrage is very powerful, but you have to be careful. Yeah, but of course, it's good to know. It's good for you to know that these markets now, when you're on a Uniswap has got a tab there, Uniswap port. No, not. I'm talking about. MetaMask. MetaMask has got MetaMask portfolio at the very bottom. So MetaMask portfolio can actually help you to do arbitrage trading without making any serious effort. So that's going to actually fetch the best price for the tokens out there. Like you can find, because right now Bitcoin is listed in all these exchanges, you can buy Bitcoin using MetaMask portfolio arbitrage prices. And for people who are actively trading, they take advantage of this arbitrage prices. But if you are actually a day trader now, you can make a lot of money in arbitrage trading, finding goods in this one market here and then selling them into this other market. Yeah. So that's what I would like to say about those things. But I'm sure there are questions about how these things working. Susan, are you able to show at least how from, say, Trust Wallet you can get into the DEXs?
Okay, let me join with my phone so that I can illustrate from there, maybe. A minute.
Yeah. Maybe if you can even demonstrate how to create a liquidity pool. Now, is my screen wide enough for you to see? Okay. Thanks.
I just wanted to add on something that sushi is actually Japanese word.
Sushi. Sushi. Oh yeah, sushi is Japanese. But this guy is from Korea rated it.
Yeah, it was in demand.
Now, yeah, that's true. Sushi is Japanese. Yeah, because I used to go to a sushi restaurant down here in Brooklyn. Yeah. So, yeah, Japanese. But But the exchange itself, SushiSwap itself, is made in South Korea. Yeah. Okay, Susan, how's it going?
I've joined with my phone. Let me see.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right. Well, market making is the hardest thing because people have not understood that. I think market making, if I explain it like using a social media today, anyone in the world today is able to contribute a narrative in social media. You can post things on Facebook, you can post things on Twitter, you can post things on LinkedIn all by yourself. So you make content, which now contributing that content, now who benefits from that content? Facebook alone itself benefits. Of course, some people are making money on Facebook and Instagram and even YouTube. But Facebook is made by the contributions of all those contents, all that content by billions of people. Imagine the same thing that making market now for finance, that people contribute. Now the difference here is that when you send your message, I think when you send send messages to Facebook, you continue to own those messages because Facebook doesn't own them, just gives you a platform. And I think the same thing that when you contribute your tokens to make markets, you continue to own the tokens. You can always remove them from the market, or from the liquidity pool. But the difference with Facebook is that Facebook is not going to pay you any percentage of money for making market. And you could say that Facebook is like a media company. That's what they call it, social media. The way the TV broadcasting was owned by, companies like CNN, but now anyone can contribute news. But the same thing that anyone can contribute to the market or making finance market. Let's say anyone can make finance market and continue to own whatever you're contributing in the market. Yeah. So it's still yours, but it is contributing to building the market. And that's what's amazing about this. So Susan, how's it going?
Okay, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
With you, able to do that right here. Oh, okay. I'll share my screen to Trustwire. And then
Okay.
I'm going to show how to, let me see the screen. No. Minutes. I see. Share screen. Zoom will have access to all the information that is on your screen. Display starts now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking for Trust Wallet so that I can share that. And I can see it here.
I don't know. Are you sharing can you see the screen? Can you share the screen yet?
No, I've not, it has not
Okay.
not managed to share. Let me see. Okay. Okay. When I click on share screen, it's taking me to Mhm. It's taking me to applications so that I can allow Zoom to share different applications, and then from there I don't know how to. Okay, go. Okay, let me see. Okay,
Oh,
okay,
applications on the phone.
yes,
Allow Zoom. Oh,
yes. Let me
on your
allow Zoom.
phone.
Mhm.
Maybe it's Zoom settings.
Okay, I think now I can be able to share. Let
Okay.
me see.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
now it's visible. Okay, now I'll go to Trust Wallet.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see whether it's visible. Okay, now this is my Trust Wallet, and from here, I'm going to go to, at the bottom, there is a button for Discover. So I click on Discover. It's going to open this platform. In this interface, there is Discover app, D apps. And here you're going to go to, if you want to interact with different applications or different decentralized application, you just click on DEX, DEX. So when I click on DEX, it's going to give me different applications or different decentralized exchanges. And here you can see Uniswap, you can see PancakeSwap, Jupiter Exchange, and all these other different decentralized exchanges. And today's our focus is,
Is sushi swap
yes?
there? Is sushi swap?
So, um,
I don't see sushi shop.
Or maybe
Jupiter Exchange.
maybe you don't search it. Okay.
Pancake. Okay.
Pancake, yeah.
mm,
Maybe they went for the most popular ones. Oh,
yes, yes.
not,
And if
not
at all,
necessarily popular, the ones that Trust Wallet likes.
yes, and if at all you don't see the one that you want to create a pool with, you can always search here, the search bar. Yes. So
Yeah.
we click on Uniswap, and it's going to redirect us to Uniswap, that is website. It's
Yeah.
called app.uniswap.org. And here, let me wait for it so that it can show us. Here we have the first page that you get is the page for swapping. And for this, you need to connect your wallet. So you just click on connect at the top right. When you click on connect, it's going to pull this page up, and then you click on other wallet because we don't have a Uniswap mobile, so we want a Trust Wallet. So you click on other wallet, and then you can see Trust Wallet here. You just click on Trust Wallet for you to connect, and then it will connect with your Trust Wallet. Yeah. And then from here, you can swap from, maybe you want to swap Actuate to ETH, you want to swap a token to another token. So here you can see it has already selected ETH, but you can always change this by clicking on that token, and then you select the token that you want to swap from. And then at, let me just go back. Let me see. I'll just take it, and then at the bottom here you can see select token. So at the top, the one that is written is the token you are swapping from, and then select token is the token that you're swapping to. So if you want to swap these to a different token, you just select it here, and then it's going to swap it to, when you click, let's say we want to swap to USDT, and then you say how many ETH you need to swap to USDT. You key in the number of ETH you want to swap, and then you key it is going to, let me say, for example, I want to swap 0.1 ETH. It's going to autofill the second part, and then you're going to review and click on swap, and it's going to swap to the other token. Okay. So basically that is swapping. It's as easy as that. Now we can proceed. We see how to create a liquidity pool. Unless anyone has a question about swapping.
Yeah. Well, I just want to add that swapping becomes possible when there's liquidity, when the market is already
Yes.
made. Yeah. That you cannot swap unliquid tokens. They're like solid, like ice. Yeah. Yeah. So this swapping will become possible for Actuate to ETH when we have created liquidity pools. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So the other part we want to do is to create liquidity pool. So what you do, you come to the three bars at the top left. When you click on them, you'll be able to see pool. So we have app, trade, explore, and pool. So you click on pool, and it's going to open this page where you can create a liquidity pool. And in this page, you can click on plus new. Then you click on plus new, it's going to give us it is going to pull up this page, and here is where you key in the tokens that you want to pair. For example, you want to create a liquidity pool of ETH Actuate token. So what you do, it has already auto-filled that you're creating a liquidity pool with ETH. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to choose the second token, which is now Actuate. So I'm going to click on the arrow at choose token. So when I click on it, it's going to pull this where you can actually be able to select which token that you want to create liquidity pool with. And for Actuate token, you need to have the Actuate contract address. And this will allow me to go to either scan. So that's it. Sorry?
Susan, as you're going to either scan, can you do this in practice? Can you create a liquidity pool with $1?
Okay.
Yeah. So even
So,
one, to show how easy it is. Even $1 you can create a liquidity pool, yeah.
So I will go to either scan. So this is Actuate. I actually got this from the Actuate website. When you go to Actuate website, you'll be able to see, maybe I can just actually go back. So this is the Actuate website. And in the Actuate website, there are these buttons here. There is either scan, BSC scan, Polygon scan, Silo scan, and CoinGecko. So when you want to get the Actuate contract address, you just come to Actuate website, and then you click on either scan, and it's going to take you to either scan Actuate page where you'll be able to see token contract, which is written token contract with 18 decimals. So you just click the two boxes after the OXBA. That is the contract address. So I'll click on the two boxes at the right, and you can see it has said copied. So now I'm going to go back to Trust Wallet because that is what I'll need to put. Okay, that's what I'll need to pull up the actual token in this. So I'm going to long press and then paste. And when I do that, it's actually going to pull up the actual token. So I just click on it, and I'll click continue. And then from here, I'll scroll down, and you can see it's saying that create new pool. Your selection will create a new liquidity pool, which may result in low initial liquidity and increased volatility. Consider adding to an existing pool. This is just a warning because now this is among we are still in the early stages where we are creating pools. So I'm just going to click on continue. And then here I'm going to select, let me see. So we are creating a pool, and then you can see here it's ETH Actuate pool. So one Actuate is equivalent to, let me set the price. 0.0001 Actuate is equivalent to 1 ETH. It has already taken, when creating a new pool, you must set the starting exchange rate for both tokens. This rate will reflect the initial market price.
Stop there. Susan,
yes.
you must set the exchange rate. So it's you just putting the exchange rate. It's not another person out there. You see that? That's the power that you actually determine how much. Just like when you go to the market, you want to sell your mangoes. You say, my mangoes are going for 80 cents. See? But then if you find that the market price for mangoes is predetermined, you can actually agree to them. But then what I have understood about this world, you get paid what you ask. For example, if you see some doctors charging $100 a consult, others $75, others $40. What makes them charge that? Except when the government is dictating. But in the private market, there is no limit to how much money you can ask for to be paid. Okay. So you said, now, what determines now, the market, of course, got its own appetite. If you set a very high price and there's no demand, then there's nobody buying. But I just want to underscore the point that you are in charge of determining the price. Okay, go ahead, Susan. So, like, for example, set this one to go for $1 per token.
Okay, let me let me just calculate how much the ratio of actual to E that we will need so that I can key in the amount of ETH required.
Yeah. Because now this is the whole thing that ETH is not in dollars. It is in ETH. So,
So, okay. So for that, it means that okay. One ETH will be 3,000 actuates, so it will be 0.0003, right? If
yeah.
because right now we are looking at one ETH is equivalent to like $3,000.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
So
Mhm.
it will one ETH will be for it to be $1. We need like I think it's 3 zeros. No, 1, 2. How many? Let me get a pen.
You can ask GPT. Say if if one is $3,000, what is $1? $1 is 0.003.
Mm.
Yes, it will be 0.003.
Yeah.
So I'm going to change I wanted to pull okay. Deposit tokens. No. I want to change these. It's not pulling. Okay, it's here. I see it. So I'll change this to 0.003. Is it? So one actually is equal to one is no.
Not is not one. That's $3,000.
What it has written here.
003.
003 here.
Yeah,
0
three-
points.
yeah,
0
yeah,
points.
4 zeros.
4 zeros or 3 zeros.
Yeah, 3 zeros. Okay, that's fine.
Let me ask Siri. Siri sometimes not too clever. Seriously. Hey Siri, if one ETH is $3,000, how much is $1 per ETH?
Okay, I found this on the web. For if one is $3,000, how much is $1.05? Check it out.
She arrived like a diva, and everyone was in absolute shock when they found out who she really was. The main hall of the Blackwood Mansion in Beverly Hills
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask ChatGPT for this. If one ETH is that amount, what is $1, it will be 0.00412. I've used the after current price. So it will be 0.000412.
Yeah.
So here, Doc, it's saying there's a place that is saying one actually is equals to one ETH. I don't know why it's
One actually is never equal to one ETH. Or not yet. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next year. That's all.
let me see
Mm.
where I can change that.
Is
Set
it what
initial
is If you say that initial price, one actually is 1 ETH. That's being a very ambitious. It's just taken 10 years for it to come to $3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hope this one actually is going to be $3,000 maybe in a year or so. That's going to require very hard work, no doubt.
When I change the price at the top, it's not changing the one that is already set.
Unless you go to the previous page, previous screen. And this is an important problem. It's showing because I think people can have trouble with this. So you can go back, or maybe start again and create a new pool.
Okay.
Yeah, so that you enter the price instead of 1 ETH, you say 0.0004. What do you say, 47?
Yes. Okay. Not unprovided. Okay. I'm getting the same amount because when I do this, it's auto-filling at 0.000, and these are too many zeros. So it's saying 0.00001. Those are 4 zeros. Actually, is equals to 1 ETH. And it's saying this is the market price.
Is equals to 1 ETH.
Yes.
I can't see what's going on. And if you hit next, what's it going to do?
So I have to set oh, okay, I get it. Let it pull. Let me see whether it's going to pull the keyboard that I can insert the number 0.000412. Okay. This is the minimum price to infinity. That is the custom. We are doing custom range.
Yeah. Well,
so the
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the minimum price is 0.000412. So when I go below this, I have to say how many ETH I want to put in this liquidity pool. You can do 0.2, maybe 0.20. Let me see how much this is. 0. Okay, we can do 0.01. Okay.
Okay.
So if I do 0.01, that will be $24. Yeah. So I'll be creating a liquidity of $24.
Okay.
Yes. 0.1. And then it's going to review. I click on review. So I'm setting so the next page that opens is just to confirm what I have indicated. And it's saying that the minimum price is 0.0041 actuate per ETH to a maximum price infinite actuate per ETH. And then the initial price, it's saying is 0. This is greater than or less than.
What did you do? You set it at full range or infinite?
Yeah, it's infinite.
Oh, I thought you were going to do, not full range, but range like 0.5%.
Okay, let me go back.
Is this V2? This is another thing that we want to explain to people that Ethereum Uniswap protocol has gone through three three revisions.
Mm.
This Uniswap V1, V2, and V3.
Yes.
In V2, you could only do full range.
Mm.
In V3, you have those specific ranges.
Yes.
Yeah. Now the in full range, the difference is that if you set your market at full range, that it means that people can try to buy your tokens at zero price, or maybe just lowest price possible in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you don't want to do full range. You want to make a limited range that if somebody tries to offer me like 70 cents for your tokens, 70 cents to the dollar, you said don't sell. So you make sure it doesn't sell. Or if the price is too high, don't sell. But then you create a range where say like 95%, like 5% below the set price, that's like 95 cents, or 5% above, that's the 100 and 1.05. See, that prevents it prevents market, getting your tokens taken for for very little money. Yeah.
Okay. So I have changed that. From now we have a minimum price, but the way we had set it, because we had a minimum price, there's you put in infinite, it means that they can buy at the highest price they want, but they can't go below 0.002.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is V2?
Yeah, no, this is I have changed it to V3. Initially it was V4.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I don't even know how V4 works. We need to study that too. Yeah.
Okay. So
V4 is the fourth iteration of Uniswap. We need to understand what have they changed, because before they must have released it earlier this year. Yeah.
yeah. So when we do that, we just click on create, and then it's going to take me to Trust Wallet. And in Trust Wallet, I'm going to approve. So I approve this. It's going to charge me $0.35 for this. So I click on approve. I put in my password, and then I wait for it to approve. After that, give it some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's loading, and then the second, that was to approve the transaction, and then it has given me another I'm required also to approve again, and this time it's charging me $21.
21. For what?
Yes. A second approval.
That's by Uniswap?
Yes, by Uniswap.
Oh, this is new. Didn't know that. So Uniswap takes $21 for you creating liquidity pools with them.
Yes.
Oh, this is new. They didn't have that. They have kind of built it.
So I click approve.
Yeah, let's see.
Approve. I key in my password, and then yeah, the liquidity pool is created.
Yeah, no, PancakeSwap does not have that $21. Is it?
Yeah, it doesn't. The charges for PancakeSwap are low. It's not as expensive as it is in Uniswap.
Yes. But see, if you're making large pools like $100,000 or even $1,000, $21 for making a pool, that money goes to Uniswap. But it's not added to the pool. So the pool itself is only $24, isn't it?
No, actually, I changed that. I put 100 actually.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is very important for all of you to learn that this is new fees, and of course, we have to agree with Hayden Adam. He needs to get paid. So that is nothing is free. But it means that the cost of creating a liquidity pool is now $21 plus the transaction fee also by Trust Wallet. That was 35 cents to the dollar. So that's 21.35 cents. However, if you are making large pools, you can use Uniswap. And Uniswap is made here in the United States. So Americans love Uniswap quite a bit. But PancakeSwap, which is Chinese, is way much cheaper. It's incredibly cheap. Okay. So it does the same thing, but at a very low cost. You don't pay $21 to participate in PancakeSwap. Okay. So when you do this now, Susan, the exchange creates an LP token. What does it do? It creates an NFT. Can you see that NFT?
Let me
What?
confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Uniswap now. I think when you now have that Uniswap interface, you can now look at your liquidity positions. That's Nokia. Liquidity positions. Well,
Okay, let me share again my screen.
okay, you can access your Trust Wallet on the laptop, or maybe it's just this. Let's say Uniswap. Yeah, you're
Okay,
sharing your phone, yeah?
yeah, it's already here.
Mhm.
So this is my pool. The Actuate is pool, web pool, because now it's wrap is,
Yeah.
and then so from here there is status, in range, out of range, closed, so you can see the status of the pool, and then the protocol. Okay, we want to see whether it has given me the ETF, or it's going to deposit it to my wallet address, right? The wallet, that's it.
It used to be on top, on the top right somewhere, but I don't know anymore because I have not seen this. That's what Uniswap.
So here it is, it's showing, when I click on the pool, what is showing is add liquidity, remove liquidity, migrate to V4. And then below here we have fees earned.
Fees earned. You see that if people are now trading, you start earning fees, and they're going to be showing down there like fees earned, how much money you are earning from your pool.
Yeah.
And then
So that's it. That is what is available here.
okay, so it doesn't show the NFT on this page. The NFT is the identity you receive for the pool. And so this money that you put in the pool, what you want to understand is that that money is still in your wallet. It is still in your Trust Wallet. Can you believe that? Still in Trust Wallet, but it is helping to make market for the Actuate because it is in Uniswap. How about that? That's being in two places at the same time. This has never been heard of. Like you can be here and there at the same time. You see that? How does that work? That's being here and there at the same time. And so the money has not actually left. Now, if Susan wants, she can actually dissolve this pool and put all the money back in her wallet. Yeah. Now, that is real power. But now, for tokens to become liquid, greater liquid, you need to have thousands of people doing this. And this was called liquidity. And that's why we have to explain to everybody. And that's called market making. What Susan has done is to begin making markets for the actual token. Uniswap, when they began, they didn't have those charges like $21. It's actually quite new. I don't know whether it's actually even necessary for them to charge people extra $21. I think somebody told them, these capitalists of New York, because these guys are in New York City. But PancakeSwap and SushiSwap and QuickSwap, they don't have all that. Okay. So I think would be much suitable for the African market to work with PancakeSwap. Wow.
Okay. We booked for 2 hours.
Yeah, they're almost done. All right. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Any question? What time is it, by the way?
10:08.
Yeah.
11.
11 what?
11:08. You are right.
11:08. So, yes. Well, thank you so much, Suzanne, for that demo. Any questions or clarifications? So basically, this is what we do in blockchain basics. You have learned about wallets, of course, you already know about wallets, but the most important thing is to learn how liquid pools work. And you keep practicing this, you become very good at it. You discover making market and earning from the market. It becomes second nature. That's it. So for us to be for any project, we're going to support.
So the main thing here is to practice until you're able to start creating a liquid pool, making market. Okay.
Making market. If we can train as many people as possible, then fundraising becomes quite easy for large projects, including what you call the neuroscience centers in Africa. And you can see that there are people who have a lot of, let me explain, like if you have somebody who has so much money in the bank, there's no point of that money sitting in the bank.
Can invest.
You can put it in the liquidity pool. It's still going to be your money. At the same time, because it's not going to leave your wallet. First of all, he has to convert all this, say, South African rands or US dollars into Ethereum, and then use that to pair with Actuate token. That money is still in your wallet. At the same time, it is sitting in Uniswap, creating liquidity. What power is that? That thing is almost incomprehensible. How does it really work? But then you understand that there is all this this is physics. It obeys something called the second law of thermodynamics. It's known as entropy. But now we can go into the science of entropy at a later date. Yeah. Okay, so we can stop there. And thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you so much, Jose. So hi, Jose, any questions?
Can you speak on the recent news that happened last week with the Genius Act and the other bill?
Genius Act?
Yes, the Genius Act and the other bill, I forgot what that's called, which was, it passed the House, I believe, and the Senate.
The US Congress?
Yes.
Well, I've not been following. What is that? What's going on with that now?
As of last week, Web3 is here now. So all major players, all major companies are now racing to be the first dominant superpower on the blockchain. And this is being set up by two specific bills. The first bill is to set the infrastructure for blockchain. and the second bill is to actually, put everything on the blockchain. So one is infrastructure, and then one is utility.
Amazing. Yeah. So I need to inform myself because I've been so annoyed with politics, all these fights in throwing bombs at other people. I stopped listening to it's like mind blowing what they're doing.
Okay.
So there are good things also happening at the same time. That's good news.
Yes. So
Yeah.
in the next year and a half to 2 years, there's going to be a massive explosion in the adoption of Web3 and blockchain.
We're just at the vanguard of it. Amazing. So we need to know how to take full advantage of this whole thing. Now, my friend, you are here in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yes.
So we need to connect and figure out how to take full advantage of all that. Plus, I'm afraid Dr. Mbale, you're also coming back to Boston, Massachusetts, so we can take full advantage of these new regulations. Okay.
Yes. So before there were barriers to all of this technology, but now everything is open. A floodgates is open. Expect major news in July and August because the Genius Bill is set to pass around that time. Since the first bill passed, now is prime, and ready for the second bill to pass. So the Genius Bill is the next one to look at, or Genius Act. I'm sorry.
Genius, but Genius.
Well, I actually didn't see the spelling, but yes, it's pronounced that way.
Genius. I'll check it out on YouTube.
Genius Act. Yes. All right.
Okay. Amazing. Wow. So you see, last year, 2023, they implement this Operation Choke Points 2.0. It wasn't even a bill where they instructed all the banks to prevent people from gaining access to markets. Like if I try to buy crypto using my debit card, they would close down my bank account.
Well, now everything's opposite. Now Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in the U.S. are now setting up to allow people to use their crypto as assets, so they don't have to cash out and sell their crypto. They can keep their crypto, but use it as assets towards a mortgage.
Amazing. Funny me. What do you say? Yeah.
I said I didn't know that.
Yeah, you could not buy crypto using your debit card. You would get your bank accounts closed. So it's been a very hard time even for us to put Actuate in the market in 2020.
Well, now J.P. Morgan, the number one bank in the world, is setting all that up. Visa and MasterCard, at least Visa, is trying to work with FCC and other agencies to ensure that all countries around the world have access to the dollar through the blockchain, and Amazon and Amazon and who else? All the alphabet companies, including Amazon and Walmart. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Walmart. They all are getting on board now. So basically, like I said, floodgates is the key word. It is open now. So everything that was not possible before last week is now, open to being available.
Yeah, I got the news about Amazon and Walmart. You know who told me? Wendy Hoffman.
Yeah, because I told her. I told Wendy.
And she was telling me that now George Moen of WBN News wants to create a crypto. That was last week, but they wanted us to have a conversation, but I was so tired. Last week was too bad. This week ending today. It was too intensive because I was working on that project for these guys in the UK. Okay.
Well, there you go. Now you see some of the efforts I've been doing because I spoke to Wendy last week about that when the news came out. So
what did you discuss with her?
Just that. I just shared the link with her just to show her, because remember she was a little concerned about like the viability of all this. So I showed her the news on how viable it is now. So that's all.
Excellent. So Wendy, of course, she wants to create the peace token, she still has a lot to learn, but then she doesn't come to these meetings because she cannot learn unless she shows up here. So we can, because this thing you learn everything every day, you learn something every day. And she wants to create a peace token, and she keeps asking me, what do I need to do about it? And I think what she need this whole to unpack in a token, yeah. Like just like what we're doing with the UK team, is that there are 5 things that you must know, and even what you're going to do with Dr. Mbale. And Dr. Mbale, I'm going to explain to you in the few minutes remaining here. For the neuroscience centers token, the first thing that you want to understand to build a token so that you can build a market for it is, number one, you want to understand the problem the token is going to solve. Say, for example, the neurosurgical centers right now, the problem is that excellence in neurosurgical centers is not possible in Africa right now. Quality is very poor, the cost is very high, and even that costs, when the cost is so high, it's cost of high for things that are of very, very bad quality. And so that problem is very well understood. Even the World Bank people talk about it, even the WHO talks about it. So the problem is not hidden, but we need now to frame it as a problem. Now, the specific problem is not even having so much diseases that we are not able to solve. It is, the specific problem is how do you form capital. Form capital to build infrastructure and systems for delivery of good care for such neuroscience centers. The specific problem is capital formation is absent. And that capital formation has only been happening in NASDAQ because nothing can happen unless we form capital. That is called financial innovation. Financial innovation is required and necessary condition for any other innovation to take place. The specific problem we have in Africa is that financial innovation is not understood anywhere. We don't even talk about it. See? So we have to say that specific problem. But then we have another even more specific problem. We now already know that we have, just like you've seen with our formation of liquidity pools, you can solve that specific problem. What Uniswap has done is called known as capital formation. That market making is forming capital. Okay? But then now the deeper problem to that is that people do not know how to form capital using Uniswap or using the blockchain itself. See that? So that is what for this, and this, so you can see that is the problem. That is chapter 1. That's just the very first chapter of the whole project, to come back to down to the point where you're now talking about where the rubber hits the road, how people can form capital individually as themselves. Then chapter 2 is creating that token, like Actuate token. And now chapter 2 is talking about how to use the Actuate token. Let's talk about neuroscience centers of excellence token, NSC token, to form capital for neuroscience centers. Now, and then of course, number 3 is to talk about how you put those tokens in exchanges, like what Susan has done today in the liquidity pool. And then number 4 is how you can tokenize real world assets, like the real estate, the intellectual property, in all that together. That's chapter 4. Then chapter 5 for the project design itself is community development, building the community. That for that token to work, like for that liquidity pool to work, we have to educate. For each token, we have to educate at least 1,200 people. And this, even what you're going to do with your token, Dr. Mbali, is that we have to train at least 100 to 2,000 tokens, 1,200 people. And these are 1,200 people, people who are being trained on the blockchain basics itself, just like what Susan has done with us today. And we need to train at least 1,200 people about that. So that's the project. And this is what I told Wendy. And even if George Moyen comes in for the WBN news, if you want to create a token for the news network, it's the same thing. That has to go through those, like, what's the problem? The news is not reaching people. Problem number 2 is the token itself, exchanges, and we have to train people for him. So through our academy, yes. So I think we have to get going because they're going to close. We are out of time now. Thank you so much, everyone. And of course, Jonathan, I didn't hear from you today, but we have drops in the middle of the week. But thank you so much, Jose, also for what you've been doing.
He's at work. He starts work at 11. So
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Last week I had we had this conversation when I was at home because I'm getting lost. Even my computer crashed yesterday and broke here. Yeah.
You dropped it.
Remember it dropped over there?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, okay. So this moving up is causing some serious trouble. Well, thank you so much, everyone, and have a great weekend. Bye now. Let's do,
right.
I don't know, yeah.